Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to paint a watercolor topiary using watercolor crayons. I did a topiary like this just the other day in acrylic paints, and here's a picture of it. And as you can see, it's very similar, but I thought you'd like to see how the watercolor crayons work. They're quite interesting actually. Here are my watercolor crayons. I bought a set of 15, but I know that you can get these in sets of 50 or more, and also you can buy them singly. But I was just experimenting, so I bought the smallest set that I could get. I used the same tracing that I had for the first topiary that I did in acrylics, and I haven't adjusted it in any way at all. So the first thing I did was the trunk of the topiary, and I used a very dark crayon, and I shouldn't have done that. And I can say that if you are using watercolor, you could go over it with acrylic paint pens, which is what I did, and then put in a lighter color over the top. If I show you my mistakes as well as my successes, then I can show you how I fix them. I used the brightest yellow and the palest green for the light side of the topiary, and then I used, I think it was the dark, not quite the darkest blue for the other side. Then I put a darker green in the middle, and because it's watercolor, I was able to blend it with a brush and water. For my highlight, I used a white acrylic paint pen. I found that the crayon didn't give me a bright enough white. The way I paint is to adjust my lights and my shadows constantly, and I will go in several times until I get my darks as dark as I need them, and I always use titanium white for my highlight. I use the same method for the stone pot, using the shadows and the lights to create a roundness, and don't be afraid to keep adjusting those, and also don't forget to put in the shadow of the pot, because that makes the painting more realistic. It reads properly. Shadows too can be adjusted if they, in this case, one sort of got watered out, and I had to go in with some darks and adjust it so that it was very dark near the pot, and then as the shadow lengthened away from the pot, the shadow itself was a little paler by comparison. And you can put lots of color in your shadow. It's always interesting to see shadows with lots of different colors, purples, blues, whatever you feel like. And generally, if the subject matter is warm, then your shadows will be cool, and if your subject matter is cool, then your shadows will be warm. So I hope you enjoyed the video. It was just a little one to show you how the watercolor crayons work. I really enjoy working with them. I do find there are some things that you cannot do with watercolor crayons, like blotting out things like clouds and things like that. I also had difficulty erasing the pencil lines of my sketch, and I ended up using a paint pen to go over the outside edges of the topiary because I couldn't get rid of the pencil lines. But it's a minor problem, and they are a lot of fun to work with. You do have to blend them with water. You can't just leave them. Well, you can leave parts if you need a lot of rough texture, but they are fun to play with.